What's up, SnEaKyNation? SnEaKy-P here with all of the news after week 3 of the preseason here in our Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise, where the Bucs picked up a 17-14 win over the Cleveland Browns. Now, it is telling us that we need to cut 21 players. However, we actually don't need to do that yet. We can play the final preseason game before making our decision, and that is what we are going to do. Let's go ahead and check out upgraded players here. Chris Godwin. Continue to add on to him, man. If he can become a legit number 2 next to Evans, that's going to be massive for this team. Devin White, who has been killing it in preseason, had an interception last game, 3 tackles for a loss. His speed is significant, and I am very thrilled for him. Kendall Beckwith somehow improving with the broken ankle out for 41 weeks. Not sure how he managed to do that, but, you know, good on him, watching that tape and whatnot. Bobo Wilson Jr. going to get himself an upgrade as we go along. Pat O'Connor trying to make the roster right now. We'll work on his power rush a little bit. Don't think he's much of a power rusher, but, you know, that's what the scheme calls for. And then Emmanuel Smith, again, field general here. So we do have some trade offers for Cameron Brate, and we're going to take a look to see what these are. 28 years old, 79 overall. We have 2 offers. We have a 3rd next season and a 6th this year, or Geo4? I'm not sure if I said that one right. Let's go ahead and check out our right outside linebackers. See if that's something we should really do. I don't know that I view the other one as super realistic, honestly. I don't think Cameron Brate would bring in a 3rd. That guy would simply be a backup for us. We could maybe switch him over to left outside linebacker, and he could actually be a pretty solid backup there. Worst case scenario, maybe we could have him fill in backup middle linebacker. I don't know. I don't know that I like these offers. Again, I just do not believe a team would offer a 3rd even next year. If I could like take that and move it to a 4th, I would, but I can't. One thing that is helping me out is it is a pick next year, which usually means you're getting around higher, so technically they're kind of saying like a 4th this year with this trade-ish, so it's not that bad. And, you know, again, he's 79 overall. Pretty good. He could be a weapon for Sam Darnold. What are the Jets' tight ends looking like? Do they really need him, or is it one of those things where they just want to give me an offer, and so they don't really need him, but they're going to try to make it look like they do? That would play a factor. He would be a starter for them, but the problem is they have a pretty young player that's not that much worse here, which, in my opinion, means they're probably not going to give up a pick for him. I just don't view that as super realistic. The other trade I can make, and I will, I don't really need the player. I get a 7th next year. I guess that's not super significant. But, you know, he could be a decent backup outside linebacker for us, and we're going to shed Cameron Brate's salary, which is pretty bad. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and do this. We'll take this. I could have just cut him, but at least I'm picking up a 7th with this. And then what we can do is go check out free agents, as other teams have been making some cuts. So let's see who all is available. There's actually 2 players on practice squads that I would like to get. Frank Gore breaks my heart to see that he's a free agent. I really hope he lands somewhere. There's some interesting players here. Trent Taylor is actually one of them. That's not one of the guys I was really looking at getting. Taco Charlton's interesting. Bryant's never really become what people were hoping he would become. Going down the list, I really am considering Trent Taylor as maybe my 3rd guy. Mostert could be a decent return guy, but I don't really think we need him. Obi Melifonwu is somebody that kind of intrigues me. What's his zone coverage looking like? Is it good, or... Let's find out. Where's your zone at? This could be a good pickup, potentially. I feel like he probably doesn't have great zone, wherever it is. 68, yeah. I don't really think that's going to help me a lot. Mike Adams actually does have pretty good zone, but at that point, I don't know. I'd rather go with the young guy. I don't think he's enough of an upgrade to bench my younger players. And Obi's isn't good enough for me to really consider that. 2 players that I do want to pick up, and they're actually on practice squad. Let me go take a look at our depth chart really quick. just to see if Trent Taylor is a guy that maybe I should consider for that slot position. He's very good in that role. Perryman's got a ton of speed. Trent Taylor's very shifty. You know, I'm not going to get Trent Taylor because Watson's really kind of earned a role. And if I got Trent Taylor, I feel like Watson would kind of move further down that list than I would like him to. Scott Miller's actually impressed me as well. We're really not going to go that route. And actually, one of the guys that I was really looking at getting, I think we're going to pass on as well. Actually, maybe both. Because I don't think I'm going to move on from Peyton Barber yet. We really haven't gotten to see him in preseason with the injuries and all. Andre Ellington's been very good. I could possibly move on from him. But again, he's been pretty good. So, like, I don't really see the need to. But I really do want to give Ronald Jones the reins. We'll throw... I mean, Ellington's not going to... I don't know, man. I don't know. Ellington's probably not going to command anything based on the free agents there being better than him. He could be a potential roster cut despite playing decent for us. But, you know, he's 30 years old, and you have a 22-year-old back here. I really don't want to cut Bruce Anderson. He's had an okay preseason. I could move on from Ojin Bawale. I keep saying it wrong. I could probably move on from him. He's already 25, doesn't have the speed that I'm really looking for. So let's go look at the guys that I was referring to here. Obviously, Trent Taylor's an interesting one, but there's some wide receivers that I really like, and I don't necessarily want to bury him on the bench. So the other ones I'm looking at are on a practice squad already. And I was taking a look at a few people, really. Tyler Conklin could actually be interesting now that I made a trade, but there's another tight end that I actually liked a little bit more. We'll go down the list. We'll look at people. So what about Jordan Franks? He's 6'4", second-year player. 85 speed is not bad. He could actually be a pretty good pickup for us, and maybe we can develop him in time. I really like that speed from the tight end spot. So that's one guy I'm considering. Another one that I was looking at is obviously my boy Jalen Moore. If I were to cut Ellington, it could make sense to pick up Moore. But it might make sense to hold on to Ellington and just kind of use him as an emergency reserve if Peyton Barber were to get hurt again, or if potentially we were to see Ronald Jones go down with an injury. So I might not make that move yet. Somebody I am looking at. There are some decent players here that do intrigue me a little bit. And then the other is Preston Williams. But again, with the receivers that I have kind of stepping up, I don't know that I'd really have room to make for him. Because I've been pretty happy with some of our younger receivers, and I want to give them time. Now, Preston Williams would be more of a development case, and I might take him for this reason. 6'4" with 89 speed. I actually kind of like him. We're going to take a shot with him. He's probably not going to be playing a whole lot for us right away, but over time, that is a guy that I will be looking to get more involved in our team. So that's somebody else I'm going to have to cut. Who's my backup tight end now that we traded away Cameron Brate? What are we looking at here? Should I go ahead and take a flyer? I do have Leggett there. Honestly, I'd almost rather go ahead and make the other move as well. Leggett's kind of... he hadn't really impressed me, if I'm being honest. We saw he had a few drops there, which was not great. And this guy's a little bit faster, maybe a little bit younger. So, I'm down to take a flyer on Jordan Franks here. Now, it's going to be two more players I'm going to have to cut. So, we're going to have some really difficult decisions to make. But that's okay. Next up, we do have the Dallas Cowboys. So, let's go ahead and take a look at their roster before we jump into this game. I hate that screen. I always do that, and I really want to go to this one. Alright, Cowboys. Obviously, at quarterback, Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush, the backup. Running back, Ezekiel Elliott. Alfred Morris. Tony Pollard there. Fullback, Olawale. Wide receiver, Amari Cooper. And Randall Cobb. Michael Gallup, a player I'm very excited about. I think he's going to be very good. Jason Witten returning to the Cowboys. They do have A.J. Derby there. Blake Jarwin, another name to keep an eye on. And then just a beastly offensive line here. Left guard, a little bit of a weakness, I would say, but not that bad. DeMarcus Lawrence actually injured here, so that's something to keep an eye on. Randy Gregory out as well. Collins, Covington, left outside linebacker Sean Lee, Jalen Smith, and Joe Thomas. Right outside linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, cornerback Byron Jones, and Chidobe Awuzie. And then Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, free safety Xavier Woods, and strong safety George Aloka. They do have Jeff Heath there as well. So, interesting team to go against in the final week of the preseason. Again, they've probably already made their cuts, but we have not. We're going to do that after the game, so stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in week 4 as we take on the Dallas Cowboys. Later. Well, I take it back. I could have sworn that I could play this final preseason game before making cuts. However, apparently that is not the case. Even though I'm not trying to go to week 1, I'm still just trying to play this game first. I've done this in another one of my franchises, which is really weird that I can't seem to do it right now. But alas, this is where we are. So unfortunately, I guess I do have to make cuts before this game. Nick Fitzgerald, unfortunately, did not get as much of a chance as I was hoping for. I was really planning on playing him a lot in this final game. But because I have to make this decision now, I guess we're just going to have to put him on the practice squad and we'll try to develop him over time. I'd really rather do this position by position. Blaine Gabbert, man, I think he actually lost out to Ryan Griffin. Ryan Griffin just kind of impressed me a little bit more. Like I said, I really don't care about the overall. I care about who steps up and performs. And Ryan Griffin stepped up more than Blaine Gabbert did. So we're going to go ahead and move on from Blaine Gabbert. And if one of these quarterbacks gets hurt, we have Fitzgerald that we can move up. So moving on to running back, the question is, do I release Andre Ellington? So Ronald Jones is probably going to be our starter as the season gets going. I do expect Barber to be back fairly soon. So do I keep Ellington around just for depth in case somebody gets hurt? Or would we like to give some minutes to some of our younger backs here in that scenario? I think I'd like to give those minutes to the younger backs. But at the same time, like Andre Ellington, he's played very well for us in preseason. I don't necessarily want to cut him for that. But if I'm looking at the future of this team, he's 30 years old. We have a running back clearly going to take over here. Once Barber comes back, that's just going to move Ellington down the list a little bit further. He's really not taking much cap space, though, is the thing. There's nothing to really gain from it. He's the veteran leader. I think we will keep him. I will move on from Ogunbowale here, though. We are going to move on from him, and we'll start with 3 backs now. Once we'll probably roll with 4, actually. But we'll see what happens come regular season, because Barber's not appearing here because he's currently injured and you can't release him then. No fullback on the roster. I think we're fine to move forward with 4 backs. Over at wide receiver, clearly not moving on from Evans, Godwin, or Perryman here. Watson's been great. Scott Miller's been great. Anthony Johnson has kind of been hit and miss. I do like Anthony Johnson, but he had a few drops. We did bring in Preston Williams, who I would like to give a chance to. Bobo Wilson, I'm probably just going to go ahead and move on from. DeMarcus Lodge will throw on the practice squad, and KJ Brent we're going to move on from. I might go ahead and throw Anthony Johnson on the practice squad as well, and we will move forward with this crew of receivers. We'll see what happens as we go on, if I need to make another move. So O.J. Howard there, our backup, though. And I think we're probably going to move on from Tanner Hudson. I could maybe throw him on the practice squad. Claire is gone. We saw him fumble. He didn't really stand out. Orndorff is gone as well. I could technically have 4 on there, but we might just throw Hudson on the practice squad and move forward with 3 for the time being. In case of an injury, we can pull him up. I think we probably only really need 2 left tackles for now. Unless I only have 1 right tackle, which I didn't think would be the case. So yeah, 2 left tackles, so we'll probably move on from Boozer. I can throw him practice squad. I need to be careful about giving away too many practice squad spots here. Who to move on from here? Probably going to cut Ledetke. Zach Bailey's younger, so we're going to give him the backup spot here. Over at center, have 2 there. Right guard can move on from 1, and that's going to be Earl Watford from the looks of things. A little bit older. You know, we have our backup. Right tackle we're solid at. Left end. This really bums me out that I have to cut somebody here, man. or cut before week 4 of the preseason, I should say. I really think you should be able to play that final preseason game before making your roster changes, right? I mean, isn't that what most teams do? So we're actually going to move on from Nunez Roches here. He didn't really do bad or anything, but, you know, Beckner, 22 years old, and we want to give him a shot at that backup spot. Over at right end, and Ledbetter actually really stepped up. I don't want to move on from Ledbetter at all. Although he would be the obvious cut here, but you know what? He stepped up big time. So I was very happy with his performance. If I have to revisit this, I will, but for the time being, we're not cutting anybody here. Defensive tackle, we got 2. Left outside linebacker, we did end up making a trade, and I thought it was left outside linebacker. Did we bring somebody in at right outside linebacker? Where's the guy that we brought in via the trade? I don't know why I'm not seeing him. Was it... Hello? You guys saw me make the trade, right? Maybe it was... I don't think it was Anthony Nelson. Maybe it was. I thought he was like a 71 overall, the guy that we traded for. But I'm not seeing that anywhere. Yeah. I don't know. Alright, well, whatever. So... Probably going to take 2 here. And honestly, Nelson and Harris didn't greatly step up to remove Nassib from this spot here. So I'm down to throw him on the practice squad. Harris, we might move on from. I want to put him on the practice squad. I don't really want to do that. But I might have to. Might need to. So we'll put him on the practice squad for now. Maybe I'll call him up if I have to. Middle linebacker, we do need a few extra backups here. I was flirting with the idea of moving Buchanan back to safety, but I think I'm going to keep him here for the time being. Corey Nelson, I do like. Kishi is what somebody said. We're going to move on from him. Oh, did I throw him on the practice squad? I meant to put him on the practice squad, but maybe I didn't. Emmanuel Smith, again, practice squad guy. Oh, I think I did put him on the practice squad then. So now that we run like I mean, obviously running a 3-4, we do need some extra backup middle linebackers just in case. Rotate them around. We are going to move on from Pat O'Connor and move forward with Bond and Spence. Cornerback, let's see what we got. We might actually just be okay with what we have. I guess we could probably move on from Devontae Harris here and then rock these other guys. So free safety, probably... throw you on the practice squad. And strong safety. Got to make some moves here. We don't have the best strong safety group, man. Cut Bryce and don't really want to cut White. Oh, is our practice squad full? I bet it is. And that's an issue. Isaiah Johnson, that 81 speed just scares me to death at safety. So we're probably going to cut him and keep Whitehead on the roster, actually. And honestly, looking at Whitehead, I mean, he's got better zone coverage than Stewart. But anyway, I think we're okay. That will be our cuts. Sorry to add on to this video. I really wasn't expecting that. So yeah, anyway, on to week 4 we go. Later.